podcast. Motherfucker. Get ready for the experience of a lifetime. Shit.
Oh, hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of Everybody and Your Grandma's podcast. Now featuring a theme song. You can't help but smile. It's super shitty, but I like it. It's got some cute stuff. I will quote the creator's little website or whatever he does down below in probably the YouTube channel link for my bro. Ice Henny, we call him, at least online. He made that intro. He does some rap stuff, so that's always interesting. Now can we be cool and be like an official podcast where we have a theme song? I don't know how long I'm gonna keep this theme song. It's different. It certainly is. It definitely matches the theme of the show, and it makes me laugh in the very least. So I hope that it made you guys also laugh. Yeah. So here we are, another episode. So yeah, how's it going? Did you guys have a nice 2 weeks? I didn't record anything last week because I was sick, and I don't think you guys wanted to hear me all. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Plugged up, you know? Like nobody wants to hear a sick guy, even though whenever I record these, I'm always plugged up either way. So shit sucks, and it's just gonna have to happen that way. Well, let's see here. Yeah, it has been 2 weeks, so I guess a lot of stuff has gone down since then. What to start with? Yeah, let's go like we always do. Start off on the week. We could do a week recap. Um, let's see. What I don't even know what the biggest thing was that I did this week. We'll have some funny stories and anecdotes here. I went and saw the Avengers: Infinity War. I don't know if you guys have seen that out there in Viewerland, but it was pretty good. I gotta say, DC definitely does grimdark, edgy way better than I think. Wow. Hold on a second. Did I just say DC? I meant Marvel. Oh man, it's gonna be one of them podcasts. um, but yeah, I definitely think Marvel did better than DC on the grimdark edginess of it. But I was really hoping for fucking beta male Thanos, where all he wants to do is impress a woman who is death with by just by killing a whole bunch of people. Instead, we get some guy who is nutso, I guess. Very vague. Not very vague, very open ideas about how to achieve his goal, but in like a twisted sense. Essentially, he wants to like. If you haven't seen it, spoilers. You can skip ahead here a little bit. I shouldn't talk about Infinity War too much. But basically, he wants to cull half of the universe because he sees them as parasites in sort of this weird. Oh, I don't know. Somebody described it as like a Star Trek episode because apparently in the original series there literally is an episode where some guy has the same plan, which is fine. If I think if they went directly like comic way, I think it would have ruined it. I don't think we would have seen the ending coming and that idea. So there's always that. The best thing it's given us is, oh god, the memes. For those of you who don't know, half of the characters like fade away at the end. So all these memes have been going around recently of I don't feel so good. Oh no. And then naturally people start to fade away. The line mostly coming from Spider-Man. But overall, yeah, I really liked Infinity War. I actually went in with low expectations. After seeing a lot of the schlock that the newer Marvel movies have put out, I was kind of like, oh, well, whatever. They're just cranking these out now for the money, essentially, it seems like a lot of times. But this one was actually good. I think Red Letter Media put it the best way. It does seem kind of like the end of a storyline, like an era, the ending of this. So hopefully there's more like cool heroes in store that are coming up in like the next movie. I'd have to say, I'm trying to think. I think my favorite scene was probably when they were like fighting on um, the moon. Oh, one of Saturn's moon. His homeworld, Thanos' homeworld. Oh God, Titan. That's it. There it is. We were gonna get there eventually, but yeah, when they were fighting on Titan, that was probably my favorite scene. A couple of those other scenes seem kind of rushed, so that's always entertaining. When they rush way ahead, and you're like, oh, they barely gave any time to develop characters. Like they like with the whole Captain America and Black Widow and not Don Cheadle. The Hawk guy, not Hawkeye, but the other Hawk guy, the Falcon. Yeah, I know my Marvel lore very well, clearly. So that felt kind of like rushed in, and it's like, oh, here's suddenly Captain America and the rest of the Avengers. They just managed to make it here in time. Yeah, that was good. I heard Donald Trump went and saw the Avengers, and I heard he cried at least once during the movie. It was during the scene where all those like four-armed aliens are coming down and punching at the wall. At first, he was really excited because he was happy to see that a wall was working quite well. But then they opened the wall, and I heard that the tears just started rolling down his face. It was really sad. um, little little shitty humor there for you. Might as well joke about our president. It's been going on for quite some time now. Which hook that man up with a Nobel Peace Prize. I think that would be awesome, even though it's not going to happen whatsoever. So, um, it's not like he combines North and South Korea as one. No, I'm just kidding. It's going way overboard with that line. But yeah, go see Infinity War if you at least skipped ahead and didn't listen to the spoilers. But either way, it'll get spoiled eventually because that fucking fading away meme is so popular right now. So yeah, there was that. I managed to go to a party. I know, right? Like I actually get out and go and see people and do things. I have some sort of social life. It's fucking amazing. Uh, what about it? Oh yeah. So, it was a grill out, and that was a good time. Except the fact that I was told about it pretty much right after it had already started. I hit my buddy up and I go, "Oh, what's up? What are you doing?" And he's like, "Nothing." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, you wanna hang out? As you do. When your friend says they're doing nothing, you wanna go make plans with them." So that's what I did. And then all of a sudden he goes, "Did you hear about the barbecue?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't hear anything about that." I'm like, "When is that happening?" And he's like, "Oh, right now." And I'm like, "Oh, fucking shit." Luckily enough, it was a beautiful day out, so I pretty much stopped whatever I was doing and rushed right over. After playing a little bit of Injustice 2, which we can talk about that maybe later if I feel like it. This might not be the Injustice 2 episode that you're looking for. Anyway, um, yeah, so I get there, and it's a pretty average barbecue. People are just hanging out, socializing, and stuff like that. I'm trying to think here. Where do I go from here? There was just a couple major events that really did happen. This guy was leaving, and not to talk on his character, I'm sure he's a perfectly fine guy. Looked about as gay as the day is long, so that was pretty funny. He's leaving, and I overhear a conversation he's having with somebody else about their friend who is asexual. Now, I don't know if you guys know what that means. For any of you science and biology guys out there, you probably definitely know what it means. So, me being the clever guy that I am, and I can't resist, a chance to shit on somebody. I stopped whatever other conversation I was having, and it wasn't important. Now, I was a little inebriated at this point, so it makes it even a little bit more funny. I'm upstairs in a completely different room, and I hear this conversation going on right at the front door. I run down the stairs, and I look at this guy, and I go, "Oh, your friend's asexual, huh? So, does that mean if you, like, cut off her finger, she grows a whole new one of her?" Oh my God, you should have seen the look on this guy's face that he gave me. He was not happy about that at all. And so he quickly recovered and kind of did the well, actually, it means that she doesn't sleep around as much and doesn't want to have sex all the time. Um, and it kind of ended there. I don't remember a whole lot else because I got my point across just to shit on this guy, and he decided to babble and try and cover his bases. So that was funny. If I was thinking at that time, I would have said something along the lines of, "Oh, well, yeah, I feel like that too, pretty much almost all the time. I don't go around sleeping around all the time. But when I do it, I don't need to put a label on it to make myself feel special, because that's really what it comes down to a lot of times with these kids who are asexual and whatnot. They're just looking for a label to describe themselves. The term special snowflake comes to mind. Um, for many of you who know me, I don't parlay to that fucking identity politics shit. Even though the U.S. as a democracy is largely based on identity politics, but it's also more so largely based on the mob, and the mob ultimately has the major decision. Hence the idea of democracy and rocking the vote. So I think if enough people were to shit, were to shit on this guy, or maybe even this chick, maybe she would stop. But yeah, if she wants to feel special because she's got some special fucking title like being asexual, which in reality asexual means that you like grow another species, or not another species but another version of you based off of cut up stuff. A lot of stuff uses it to reproduce, like sponges and stuff like that. Organisms that don't really have to. Now, excuse my biology here, because, like I said, I'm not a biology guy, but a lot of species who don't need to, I guess, evolve. They're pretty much perfect as they are. So, breaking off a chunk and growing into another creature like it is their best way to propagate the species. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I was really glad to shit on that guy. It had been a while since I had shit on somebody for fucking shitty identity politics. So then later at that party, we ended up it ended up kind of fickling, and so we ended up going out to the bars because it was Friday, and in this town they have Friday fish bowls. I'm sure a lot of other places do that, but they're pretty good. So yeah, it's all good. So we walked all the way to the bars to get this fish bowl. Fortunately or unfortunately for us, it was graduation weekend in this college town. So, of course, everybody and their grandma had to be at the bar. That was a good time. I remember being very angry about seeing this mom and dad there, which seems to me like something that you don't want to do during graduation. Like maybe take them to a nice bar, not the shitty college bar that you go to get fucked up with your friends and hit on the nearest chick nearby because you're looking to get laid that night and you want somebody who's easy. This is just the way it works. So I was making a whole character up for this lady who was standing there. Stereotypical mom. Short, heavy set. Looked completely out of place. It was bad. I thought about going up and saying something to this lady and being like, "Why the fuck are you here? And why would you let your son bring you here?" Because her husband looked, like bored out of his fucking mind. So, but I guess if you really want to see where your kids, spend their time drinking, you're gonna go to the bar. So we down a fishbowl. We go a couple other places, and then we decide it's time to head back to my friend's apartment, which is where we were before. So head back. Everything's fine. All of a sudden, one of the couples in this party that we were with, I was the odd man out. It was two couples and me, so it's already fun and excitement. I was already worked up. Um, this one couple, the girlfriend, which I didn't get their name. If you look at my Instagram, you can certainly see these two people. Probably don't like me talking about them on my podcast, but I'm going to anyways. Um, the girl, like I was saying, the girlfriend decided it would be a great idea to drive home. Oh yeah, you haven't been sauced and crossfaded and just smoking hella weed before or anything. So they stop her. My friends, they're really good. They're really good people. They don't take, they don't parlay to bullshit. So they pretty much took her keys away and said, "No, you can't drive." And so this lady, all hopped up on, alcohol for the most part, really releases that Second Circuit rage. Um, she loses her shit. Like, I mean, obviously, what else are you gonna do? But she completely loses her shit and starts like trashing stuff, screaming about her keys. Now, you would think that the boyfriend with her would, calm her down and be like, they make a lot of sense. Maybe you shouldn't drive and kill yourself. But no, he freaks out too, I guess, and dips the scene and starts running somewhere else. You know, and so they go and try and find him, and my friend actually ended up punching him, which was kind of funny. It was a very violent, it was very extra violent that evening. It was strange, but either way, it was a good time, and I ended up sneaking out the back, so I didn't have to talk to this dude at all, because I'm sure he would have tried to start shit. But anyway, some people just can't. Some people just can't handle their shit. I don't know what it is, why it is, or what, but they just couldn't do it. So that made for quite the interesting evening. Yeah, that pretty much summed up my weekend experience. I don't know about you guys, if you guys enjoyed your weekend at all. I certainly did. Oh, that's the last time I eat Taco Bell before I do a podcast. Like, I'm not kidding, guys. It's bad. Not not fart wise, but a lot of burps. Probably because I'm talking so much and inhaling a lot of air, and orating, which is part of this. Who would have thought? But yeah, that pretty much sums up my week. I haven't really done a whole lot since then because I had to work most of the time, so that's about it. Caught up on a little bit of reading over the weekend too. I'm gonna catch up on some more tonight. That's the plan. But yeah, I think that this show is going to be the SMT show. So for those of you who don't know, SMT or Shin Megami Tensei is a video game series straight from Japan. It's a JRPG, so it's turn-based, and it's got the self-insert character and stuff. I guess the past couple months, I've been playing through this series. I've played 1, 2, and 3. I haven't played 4 yet because I'm going to take a break for a little bit to work on some other stuff. Hopefully get some more content out to you guys because I know you like it. But yeah, so I've spent a lot of time playing the SMT games, and they're really good. I would recommend them to anybody. I was kind of skeptical at first. I played earlier this year. I played or last year. Yeah, last year I played Digital Devil Saga, which is one of the spin-off series of the Shin Megami Tensei series. So I figured it would be time to play the mainline series. And I gotta say, it was honestly worth it. The first game is very basic. You have you start out with, and crazy shit starts happening. Like these demons are appearing, and all this other crazy shit starts happening around Tokyo until end of the first act. I would consider it. Tokyo ends up getting nuked, no matter what choice you pick. I guess I should delve into that. So yes, the game gives you moral choices for just about everything. It's either law, neutral, or chaos. And so, based on your choices, even in the original Super Nintendo, which I thought was really cool, based on your choices, you will align one way or the other, and you end up, you make friends in the game. Wow, if only we could make friends in real life. No, I'm just kidding. Um, but depending on your choices you make and where you go alignment wise, your friends either become closer to you or they grow distant. They grow distant to you. The canon way of playing these games is to take the neutral path and saying fuck law or chaos. So for the first two games, I played that way. I stuck as close to neutral as I could, and it worked out. Now the first game has a bullshit like point system for its alignment. So sometimes you can go way out of whack alignment, and there's no way to really reel it back in unless you do certain things. So that was a pain in the ass. There was a couple days where it was just grinding, and doing certain activities in game to get my alignment back to neutral or some semblance of something else because the first game and a little bit of the second game usually gives you bosses and you have to decide which boss you're going to fight based off of which alignment you want. So you'll kill one boss and your alignment will be pushed way ahead, or you'll kill another boss and your alignment will be pushed back. The alignment kind of works. It's actually kind of a neat system. The alignment kind of works on like a 0 to I think it's like 255 to negative 255. So depending on 0 being I guess 0 being neutral. So depending on what you do, you either lose points or you gain points. If you lose points, you're closer to chaos. If you gain points, you're law. And I thought that was a neat system. If it's kind of wonky and doesn't work completely all the time. They definitely fixed that in 2, which I really like 2 a lot more than 1, I would say. The stories are 1 and 2 stories are very similar, just like minor plot details are different, and like the settings that you like have to go to are different too. And then there's also like the whole, I guess like religious elite in the second one. In the second one, the plot goes is you're this unnamed, well, not unnamed. You give your character a name, but you're this random fighter guy who fights in this arena in this like I'd consider it to be Neo Tokyo. I forget what they call it. I think they call it like Millennium Tokyo or something, because it's a direct sequel, so it actually takes place after the events of the first game. And since the first game, the neutral path is canon, it picks up right from there of people rebuilding society and stuff. So they ended up erecting this big pyramid to live in with air controls and stuff like that, but they kind of fell back in the same sort of paths with like a political priest elite and underclasses of fighters and stuff. It's pretty hardcore, and I mean a lot of these games are all cyberpunk, which makes that fucking awesome. If you really like cyberpunk, then I would definitely say pick up these games. But the whole idea of even 1, 2, and 3, which we can talk about 3 a little bit later, is that you collect demons and you use them to battle with. So, you have a player character who's just a normal human, and by way of some, I'm going to say techno wizard who's literally Stephen Hawking's, like not a self-insert, but a like cameo. They call him Stephen and everything. Rip. Catch up on that old Rip. But he gives you a device where you can talk to demons because he himself always wanted to talk to demons. So you get this device and you start recruiting demons, and now the demons have different races and stuff. So the most common ones that everyone sees, or at least if you have any idea of what SMT is the Fairy and Jack Frost. Jack Frost is this little chibi type guy, and he is actually, I think he's become the mascot for Shin Megami Tensei. But he's good. He's a really low level demon, so it's kind of sad that he doesn't have more use. But there have been like various Jack Frosts in like the other games that kind of have like little adventures of their own, or you like talk to them more and stuff like that, which is always kind of fun. I like Jack Frost. He's always saying "hee ho" at the end of the sentence. Him and his brother, I think it's Pyro Frost. No. Oh my god, I'm gonna think of it. Jack Pyro. No, it's not Jack Pyro. There's one other one too. In 2, there's like 3 different. There's like 3 different Jacks. There's like even like a little like murdery one. Sorry to go on a weird tangent. Is it Jack-o'-lantern for the fire one? I feel like it is Jack-o'-lantern. He's a little pumpkin-headed guy and uses fire magic, about the same level as regular Jack Frost. And if you're smart, you fuse them together and you get an element. But that's how that works. So yeah, I guess I should talk about that. That's the other big part of these games is, it's fine that you want to talk to demons and make them your friends and stuff like that, but there's also the next level of it where demons can be fused together. So the whole major idea of the game is you get better demons to fuse together to make better demons, sort of in an endless cycle. And You have to understand how the fusion chart works. A lot of like triangles, and two demons of the same type will fuse and make an element type, which can boost demons or can be added to swords and other things. They're not really good on their own. The element types, maybe besides early game. So there's always that. And then you fight your way through the story with your demon friends. There's a couple, bullshit stuff. In one, there's sword fusion where you can fuse demons to a sword. I did that one. That one was super easy to get like the best sword in the game that way. In the second one, I actually had to look up a little bit of a guide and which demons to use to fuse to swords to get the best weapon in the game in two, and that was a pain in the ass because it's like five different demons, and then like you have to have like four different swords, and you have to like fuse the demons to the swords, and it's pretty nuts. All right. Yeah. So, anyways, the swords are pretty great. I guess I should explain that, like anything else in this game, there is also gear, um, armor and stuff like that, and along with the swords. So those are fun, at least in the first two games. Which makes me think, like, why didn't this game get any praise like Earthbound? Because for the longest time, it is just takes place in regular old Tokyo. Sure, you have swords, but they're I think they're fake, or either that or they're real. It's kind of a violent Tokyo because I think it's supposed to kind of take place in the future a little bit more. But anyways, I digress. Um, so yeah, that pretty much sums it up for SMT 1 and 2. Um, they're good games. Go and play those. They definitely need to be played. They never got a US release, so unfortunately you have to find translated versions, which is completely fine if you like emulated games and you're used to that sort of thing. Plus, you don't have to pay anything for them because it is emulated. Now, starting with SMT 3, kind of changes up the dynamic a little bit. It's still all about collecting demons, fusing them, and making them your partners. That's always fun. But instead, the main character, you this time, are a demon known as the Demi-Fiend, and basically, I guess the apocalypse happens, and the world is thrown into a world of conception due to an evil guy. And that's the first hour of the game, so that doesn't give anything away. And you find yourself in this strange land where there's this thing called a Kazatsuchi. What is it? I always have a hard time saying it. It's Kajasuchi, and it's like a moon type thing because one of the main elements of the SMT series is that there is moon phases in the original games, and in this one they got rid of the moon and made it an orb of light and creation that where the phases make more sense because the phases change as you like move through the game, or are in dungeons and stuff like that. So that's always fun. So they decided to make it more of an orb, and the whole plot is that the world is going to be reformed into something new. It's going to be the birth of a new universe, and the opposing forces want to create their own world. So that's fun, and I actually beat it today, and I will say it is probably the best one out of the three so far, mostly because of the stuff that you can do with demons. Now, in the first two games, you meet demons, you get them on your team, and they're your friends, but they don't really do anything past that. They have set levels and set skill set. In this one, they can at least level up and learn new skills. They're kind of like Pokemon in this one. It's kind of neat. So if you like Pokemon, definitely give SMT3 a try. You can play it. It's only a sequel in name. It's not like a direct sequel like 1 and 2. Um, but it's good. The puzzles are interesting. It moves from 2D to 3D, and I don't know. I find that the 3D dungeons sometimes aren't as complex as the 2D dungeons, but it really changed my mind with like the last couple dungeons of the game where it did it quite well, and there were some big random floors to wander around on with lots of teleporters. Yeah, so if you like games that have teleporters, hey, another reason to pick it up. Um, yeah, they're good games. They have a decent level of difficulty for anybody. Um, a little bit of grinding is always needed. The first two, like a very minimal level of grinding, maybe maybe like an hour or so just to get up to certain levels at a certain point. What else? Yeah. 50, I would say 50 hours for the first two, not together, but each. And then this last one at least took me about 70 hours. It was long. Um, so now I'm planning on taking a bit of a hiatus from RPGs because they're so fucking long. So yeah. So that's the SMT series. I'd say for anyone to give it a try. The story isn't anything crazy on one and two. It's kind of your typical self-insert JRPG plot where you're a guy and you gain, special powers after a certain point in time. The third game story switches that up and makes it way more interesting, and that's all I will say about that. And the third game also features Dante from the Devil May Cry series. So if you're ever wondering where that meme came from, it came from SMT. Unfortunately, my copy of the box for SMT3 does not have the little like crazy sticker on it that says "Now featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series." Instead, it's got a blip on the back that says, featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series. Because at the time when these games, when at least three came out, 2003, 2004, I think either the first Devil May Cry was out or the second one. I don't know my Devil May Cry history. I've only played the really like shitty new remake one, and I didn't really like that one a lot. I've always thought about going back and playing the old ones. We'll see if that actually happens. Anyways, I am completely digressing again and ranting about something that doesn't need to be talked about. Yeah. Overall, let's see here. Let's give a final. We'll be like a game reviewer. Let's give a final score to these games. The first one I would at least give an 8. The second one, how about another 8? And then the third one at least a 9. Uh, the third one fixes a lot of things that there are problems with in the first two. Like one of the big things is finding demons. So you need certain demons to fuse together to fuse, other demons to say make like the crazy ones like Vishnu or um, Beelzebub or even like Satan at a certain point. But in the first two, you have to like remember these locations, and at a certain point, even you can't even go back to get those. So if you need a certain type, you better either have a guide or know what you're doing. In the third game, however, they give you a compendium of all the demons. So as you, not catch, but befriend a demon, it gets logged in a book, and then that book later you can open up to then summon a demon for money. And I really like that system. That's probably the best part. It made fusing for certain demons really easy because all you had to do was grind for some cash for a little bit and then crank out, and then summon one. I think that is going to about sum it up for this episode of Everybody and Your Grandma's podcast. Like I said, this is the SMT episode, so if you tuned out a long time ago, it's all good. This was only 35 minutes, so you should be okay. It wasn't too bad to listen to me talk about that game. Like I said, go out and play them. They're really good games. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great week, and I will hear from you all next week. Bye.